welcome to a new episode of Thursday Reviews. Today we have the Canon SX-120 camera.
Okay, sorry, I don't want to drop this one. Now, if you watch episode 10, where I reviewed the battery charger, this was the camera that I charged the batteries for. So yes, it takes two AA batteries, and they go in right here. While we're in here, I should also mention that it takes SD cards. Next to that, you have the tripod hole. Okay, let's look at the lens. So it has a 10 times optical zoom and takes pictures up to 10 megapixels, which is plenty. If you can make sense of the rest of the information on the lens, then here it is. There's also a microphone above the lens to use for video. The autofocus beam is right there. It's bright orange, and trust me, you won't want to look at it. I'm speaking from experience here. It also has image stabilization, which is mostly used during video. Anyways, on this side, there's a door for a CR1220 battery to power the clock. On the back, or front, whatever you consider it, is the screen. The length, up and down, is 1 3/4 inches. The width, left to right, is 2.5 inches. The diagonal measures 3 inches. There is a playback button, face detection, exposure, or delete in playback. This wheel spins to scroll through pictures or menus, or you could just push the buttons. And down here are the display and menu buttons. Okay, so on the other side, you get this door for DC in, which I assume is for if you don't have batteries. Next to it, it says AV out digital, which is just a micro USB port. On the top, you have the speaker, which is in kind of a weird spot, but whatever. Next to that, you have the flash, which you lift up if you want to use it, or lower it to not use it. Right here is the power button. And here's the zoom, along with the shutter button. Okay, here's the mode dial. You got manual, aperture value, shutter speed, program, auto, that's an easy mode, portrait, landscape, night mode, kids and pets, indoor, scene, and movie. Now, let's find out what's in the scene mode. We have sunset, night scene, fireworks, beach, aquarium, foliage, snow, and ISO 3200. Here are some pictures from the camera.
So I'm going to go run off and go take some pictures, but before I do that, I want to just say that I do not mean any copyright infringement. That is not what I'm after here. I'm going to be using some music, but I'm just using it as background for the video. I'm going to give full credit in the description, and I'll give you a link to the video that I got the song from. Okay, so here's a video from the camera. So we're going to zoom in on this map that I have in my Thursday review spot. Let's zoom in on Oregon. It does digital zoom during video. No optical zoom.
Test it in the dark. Not great, but I've seen worse.
So it's time to see what I think about it. So, what do I like about it? Well, this thing is feature filled. There's a lot packed into this little thing. I like that if you put it on the scene mode, you have tons of options. Seriously, you have a lot of scenes. So if you don't know, you're going to be taking a picture of a lot of things, but you don't know what settings to put it on, you have scene mode. Maybe you're going to the beach, and then maybe you're going to, you know, there's so many different things that you can take pictures of just from the scene modes. So this thing's pretty light. Even with batteries and a memory card in it, it's pretty light. Now, if you look in the description, I do have a link to my how much does it weigh video where I weighed this, so you can see just how light it really is, in case you're curious. Another thing I like on this camera is the large screen. This is actually a pretty nice screen. It shows up, the pictures show up really nice. It just looks good straight from the camera. You don't even have to transfer to the computer yet, and the pictures look really good on this. So another feature I like is if you switch it over here to movie, you can actually have image stabilization during movie. That's cool, and it does work, and it makes the videos look better. So what don't I like about the camera? Well, you know, I was just talking about the movie mode and how I like the image stabilization and all that. Well, unfortunately that's cool, but the video quality is just not that good. It really does not look that great. But this camera is pretty old. I think I got it around 2010 or 11. I've had it for a while. And so the video quality, I mean, HD camcorders and things like that were out, but I guess they weren't as common, and I guess, you know, they were still selling things that would record in 640 by 480, so for cheap, you know, so you could buy this and that was commonplace. Nowadays, you cannot find a camera that goes less than HD. So when taking indoor photos, it seems like the photos come out pretty red. You can see all the wood panels behind me. If you were to take pictures of those indoors, it looks slightly more reddish than with the naked eye. You can do custom white balance settings, and that does work, but the built-in white balance settings just don't really do a good enough job with the wood background. So do the pros outweigh the cons? Yes, they do. The camera may be a bit old, but it takes really good pictures, and it has everything you need. It takes SD cards, so if your computer or laptop supports SD cards, then you got it right there. Or it has the micro USB, which are very commonplace, and I'm sure came with the camera. I got this camera forever ago, and I don't remember what was in the box, but I'm sure there was a micro USB in there. If not, you can find millions of micro USBs out there for probably like $5. So if that's a problem, it shouldn't be. You can pick those up pretty cheap. So would I recommend the camera? Yes, because it does take good pictures. But the only thing is, if you don't have money to get yourself a nicer or a newer camera than this, then yes, go for this. But it is pretty old. So I would suggest looking for newer Canon cameras out there if you would like to take better pictures and especially better video. This does not take bad photos, but, you know, it's old. So it is grainy and all that kind of stuff. You know, cameras have gotten a lot better even within the last 6 or 7 years. If you can only settle on this because maybe it's the cheapest route for you because you don't have the money to go and get yourself some crazy camera with a 3-foot lens and all that crazy stuff, then yes, this would be a good thing to settle on. Okay, thank you for watching this week's episode of Thursday Reviews. I will hopefully see you next week with, no, not another review. We're coming up with the outtakes videos. The outtakes videos is more than one part. So the first part will be uploaded Thursday, and then Friday, and then Saturday. I'm not done editing them because they're going to include things from this episode all the way back to episode 13. And I don't know how many videos it's going to be yet. For now, it looks like 2 videos, but it's a possibility of 3. But if that's the case, I'll upload part 1 next Thursday, and then parts 2, 3, whatever, each consecutive day after that. So look forward to some outtakes. Look forward to me messing up and being as human as you can possibly get. Alright, I hope to see you then.